Canada has introduced new strategies to attract tech professionals from all over the world. Stay tuned as we will discuss everything you need to know about this announcement. Hello and welcome to My Consultant, where we give you weekly updates about Canada immigration. We are starting today's episode with Canadian government making new announcement to support Hong Kong residents in Canada, followed by latest ExpressEntry Draw and a new Canada-United Kingdom youth mobility arrangement. Next, I will discuss tech talent strategy to attract international tech professionals, and Tashina will disclose Canada's new pathway to support Ukrainians. This episode of My Consultant is brought to you by Scotiabank.
For the past couple of years, Canada has welcomed Hong Kong residents through dedicated immigration pathways that make it easier for them to stay in Canada long term. Now, effective August 15th, 2023, Canada will remove the education requirement under the Canadian Work Experience stream known as Stream B of the Hong Kong Permanent Residence Pathways. This will mean that Hong Kong individuals with Canadian work experience will now be eligible for permanent residence, as they will no longer be required to show proof of their education status, simplifying the application process altogether. Through implementing these measures, Canada will be able to attract individuals who have already gained Canadian work experience, further assisting in the transition from temporary to permanent residence for Hong Kong applicants.
Canada has held its latest rounds of express entry invitations. On July 12th, Canada invited 3,800 candidates in a French language category-based express entry draw with a minimum comprehensive ranking system, that is CERS score of 375. This was the second French language category-based express entry draw. The previous draw was held on July 7th, in which 2,300 candidates were invited with strong French language abilities. On July 11th, Canada invited 800 candidates in an all-program express entry draw. This time, candidates required a minimum CRS score of 505.
The governments of Canada and the United Kingdom are committed to providing Canadian and British youth with international work opportunities. Canada's Minister of Immigration and the UK's Minister of State of Immigration announced the signing of a new Canada-United Kingdom Youth Mobility Agreement. Under this arrangement, more Canadian and British youth will benefit from reciprocal work opportunities from each other's country for a longer period of time under the International Experience Canada, IEC, and UK's Youth Mobility Scheme. The new arrangement builds on an existing youth mobility agreement that was established in 2008 and includes improvements such as ageability will now be from 18 to 35. 2 new streams will be added, such as international co-op, internship, and young professionals. These complement the existing work holiday category for UK nationals visiting Canada. And thirdly, participants will be able to stay for an increased number of 3 years. International youth mobility helps young people explore new cultures, languages, and societies, all while improving their job prospects for the future. Canada and the UK anticipate implementing these measures in 2024.
The Government of Canada has announced 6 new measures to attract some of the world's most talented people that will be able to come to Canada to work for tech companies. Immigration Minister Sean Fraser has revealed Canada's first ever tech talent strategy to invite people with top tech skills from around the world. These new initiatives are expected to position Canada as a global leader in tech industry and drive economic growth. Let's take a closer look at these 6 new immigration measures. Open work permit pathways for US H-1B visa holders. Canada has introduced a new open work permit stream specially designed for H-1B visa holders from the United States. This initiative will enable up to 10,000 H-1B visa holders to work for any employer in Canada without any restrictions. Additionally, accompanying family members of these visa holders will also be eligible to apply for a study or work permit. PR pathway for STEM occupations. The Canadian government has introduced a dedicated pathway for permanent residency for STEM professionals. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics. 500 candidates have already been invited through category-based ExpressEntry Draw aimed at STEM professions. The return of the quicker processing for the global talent stream. Minister Fraser declared the global talent stream's 2-week processing period will be restored in order to speed up the immigration process for qualified companies and employees. New innovation streams without any job offer. Canada will establish an innovation stream under the International Mobility Program. This stream will offer 2 pathways: open work permits for up to 5 years for highly skilled workers in certain in-demand positions, and employer-specific work permits for up to 5 years for individuals employed by Canadian firms that support the country's industrial innovation objectives. Digital Nomad Strategy. This strategy will allow individuals who work for foreign employers to come and work in Canada for up to 6 months. If they receive a job offer from a Canadian employer during their stay, they can continue residing and working in Canada. Improvements to startup visa programs. Applications with capital commitments or funding from recognized Canadian venture capital funds, angel investor groups, or business incubators will be prioritized. Applicants in the normal processing queue will receive open work permits for themselves and their family members, valid for 3 years. Additionally, the work permit options for startup visa applicants will be extended to allow them to work for other Canadian employers or just their own startups. These new immigration measures represent a significant step forward in Canada's efforts to attract and retain top tech talents from around the world.
As Russia's ongoing illegal invasion of the Ukraine persists, Canada continues to adapt its response to help those fleeing from violence. Since March 2022, the Canada-Ukraine Authorization for Emergency Travel, the CUAET, has provided temporary safe haven to over 166,000 Ukrainians. Now, the IRCC is introducing a new pathway for those who want to come to Canada and for those who want to stay here permanently with their families. Effective October 23, 2023, this new pathway will provide permanent residence to those who have fled the Ukraine due to Russia's brutal invasion and wish to stay in Canada. To qualify, Ukrainian nationals must live in Canada with temporary resident status and have at least one or more family members living in Canada as a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. Ukrainians holding a CUAET visa will have until March 31st, 2024 to travel to Canada under these temporary special measures. Following the end of the overseas CUAET applications, Ukrainians and their family members can still apply for a temporary resident visa to come to Canada under pre-existing immigration measures. Once in Canada, temporary residents will be eligible to apply to extend their stay for up to 3 years through study permits and open work permits. More information from the IRCC will be made available close to the launch of the program in October. That's all for this week's episode of My Consultant. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please click the bell icon to subscribe to get notified for our latest posts and episodes. For more information on the topics covered, please visit myconsultant.ca, where you can contact an authorized immigration and citizenship consultant. I am Tashina Thompson.
I am Tina Batra, and we'll see you next week.